Vive la France, vive la liberté. Today is Bastille Day. Today is a day that in other parts of the world, in Europe, and some parts of the United States, and some parts of Canada, people are celebrating freedom and liberty. It was born out of the Age of Revolutions, which started in this country. The torch of liberty was lit in the United States, but that fan had been flamed from writers in Paris, in France, Montesquieu, and others who were philosophers preaching and teaching a republican form of government, a government of the people, of elected representatives, meant to control and curtail the abusive authority of the monarch and dynastic and imperial forms of government that dominated the world in the 1700s. In 1789, the citizens of Paris marched on the Bastille, which is an armory in France where weapons were stored, and they took those weapons and marched on the city, demanding recognition of their universal rights as citizens. This spawned the creation of the Declaration of Man, which was co-authored by one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, who very famously wrote the preamble to the Constitution of the United States and contributed in a lot of ways to the formation of that document and the recognition of rights in our country. This was the beginning of the recognition of universal rights in citizens of those European nations which had prior to that basically been serfs and peasants tied to the land with almost no civil rights and subject to the tyrannical control of government and justice systems that were run by monarchs and monarchs' vassals and dukes and duchesses. And it was an unfair and unjust system where secret inquests, indictments were issued, people were held without charges, people were imprisoned without trials, trials were held in secrecy, and this was a recognition, at least in Central Europe, of the beginning of the end of that monarch dynastic type of oppressive government and justice system, and the beginning of the recognition of the freedom of all of us by the government. Anyway, have a wonderful Bastille Day. Here's to liberty.